Hi.
Hi.
Tonight's offering, I think it'd be a double feature.
Thinking.
Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist.
Back of the saddle.
Episode 7, which, okay, side note, such weird coincidence because they ended up going on this long hiatus during pretty much the entirety of Lent.
Yup.
This episode that we just watched actually aired on Palm Sunday. So we've got a Palm Sunday and an Easter Sunday episodes, but like the fact that their break fell literally perfectly during Lent.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it. It was great. I had thought we would have an opportunity to watch it, sans smoking and drinking, which would have been a good thing for us to do, but it was so just completely random. And then the fact that Falcon and Winter Soldier started airing, it was like March 19th, which was a feast day.
Mm-hmm.
So, craziness. WandaVision, I think, wrapped up, I think, during Lent, but it was like early. So close to the end that we were able to do it on Saturdays, I think. Not 100% sure on that, actually. No, yeah, it must have, because it ended and it was like a 2-week...
Until Falcon Winter Soldier,
Anywho, so Zoey's Extraordinary Memory. The episode starts, and we've got a young Zoey camping with her. It's not camping, she's stargazing with her dad. Watching the meteor shower, and she's watching it, and she looks up at him, and she says, "Why are you looking at me?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm watching you make the memory." It was very beautiful, sentimental. In present day, that same meteor shower, Leodon's meteor shower, is back for the first time since 1999. She goes home to pick up the telescope to complete a promise she made to her dad all those years ago. They had promised each other that the next time it came back, it's like every 20 years or so, they would go again together, and obviously he can't be there, so she's like, "I'm still going to go." She asks David, her brother, to go with her, but he's unavailable. He's like, "Why don't you ask your friends?" And she's like, "I don't want to ask them because I've been leaning on them too much lately." Then the neighbor, the rocker neighbor, I can't remember his name now.
Australian or whatever.
Yeah, the Australian kid that she went on the trip with, comes over and he's like, "Oh, I saw your car parked out front. Do you want to, watch our jam session?" And she's like, "Well, I've got this thing called work." Can relate.
That's me every time the kids ask me to play 500 with them or something.
Yeah, and it's like, it's so beautiful outside, I want to back here. And the cats in the cradle and the silver.
How dare you. How dare you. Or it's like that Calvin and Hobbes comic where, Calvin's dad is working and Cal wants him to go out and play in the snow, and his dad's like, sees Calvin outside playing, throws his work down and goes out and plays.
He was a patent engineer.
Yes.
A patent attorney.
Yes.
Which, that's intense stuff, so. Anyway, and, David overhears that. He's like, "Well, I used to be in a band," and then, he leaves to change his shirt, and she hears the music starting, and she's like, "Just watch Miles for 2 seconds," and the guy is like,
alone
with
the
baby. And it's her brother doing a musical number, Uncle Cracker.
Give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away.
Drift Away by Uncle Cracker. Like, all the musical numbers in this show were
awesome.
Like,
fire.
Perfect.
Yes.
Loved them. So what emotion is being portrayed here? He said he had been feeling stir crazy because he quit his job so that his wife could go back to work.
Right.
Because he was getting so stressed out with work and everything. So he's doing the stay-at-home dad thing.
Okay.
And they did such a good job with making him look like the tired, at-home parent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the kind of bags under the eyes, and, like, I want to do stuff, but...
I can still do things, just let me take care of my kid real quick.
Yeah.
So that song was about just, like, wanting to do something, but specifically about the music, because, you know, I used to be in a band, hey, I'd like to check it out, and whatever, so.
So, Zoe tells the neighbor kid, he's like, oh, you know, David used to be in a band, and he's like, yeah, like, eager beaver over there. And the kid's like,
Come by anytime. You know where our garage is, right? Yeah, I know where it is. Cool.
Begs the question, though. I don't know if it's a continuity error thing or what, but she went back to her mom's house to get the telescope. Why was David there, like, doing the laundry, like, folding laundry and taking care of the baby at their mom's house?
Well, I know he said that his wife had, like, signed them up for some kind of emotional connection seminar thing.
But it was about the baby. It wasn't like they're having issues or anything.
No.
Okay.
I was just, I don't know if he was, because that was for all of them to attend, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. He's over there a lot.
Yeah, I was just like, why is he doing laundry over there? It's just a weird thing.
Coincidence, maybe. Or
Yeah.
Who knows? Their mom's house is still clearly a bit of a home base for all of them right now.
So then we jump to, you know, Maximo. They're getting ready. The opening is in 48 hours, so it's like 2 days, whatever. And the fire marshal comes by to check out Maximo, and there's lots of violations, and there's clearly like you know, Mo is like, you know, big black man fire chief sort of thing.
Big imposing guy with a really deep voice. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very stoic, very by the book.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this guy, I don't know who he is, but he has this great comedic timing insofar as he plays it so straight. But he's like, you know, but then he, like, drops these, like, well, you know, if you want a fire, or, you know, if you want, like, fire trucks and EMTs and, you know, on your opening night, like, it's just, like,
yeah, they're... Just something about his delivery is awesome, because, yeah, she'll say something like, well, this decoration... Oh, we have to hurry up. The people are waiting outside. You know, you don't want waiting outside. Fire trucks. Like, I don't know. He's got this weird, like, haunted thing about him that's just awesome.
Yeah. It's back at the office. Simon is really busy because the media all wants to talk to him, you know, from everything that happened in the previous episode. Zoe invites him to go stargazing, but he can't go because of a thing. Tatiana, I think is the girl's name. And it's really interesting because they're playing this up like there's some romantic interest between Simon and Tatiana beyond, you know, like, just, you know, professional. But he's still clearly into Zoe.
Right.
So that's interesting. And then later we'll get there, but later we'll get, you know, Max reconnects with this chick who he clearly had a crush on. They did, like, maybe a little
summer fling
yeah, but they didn't really have a fling. It was like, you know, she liked him and he liked her, but they never talked and connected.
Typical meeting during camp sort of
and they never
things.
Went anywhere with it, but there's clearly a connection there.
We'll get there, though. That's getting ahead.
So Spark Point, they brought back the awesome food bar, and it's very culturally diverse.
It's got gumbo, but the shrimps have heads on them.
Yeah.
Oh, very authentic.
So he talks to that one chick that I can't remember her name, but the kind of emo-y sort of chick, and she's like, well, you're my, she invites her to go stargazing. She's like, well, you're my boss, so what time do we go? And she's like, oh, well, no, it's not a work thing. Don't worry about it. You don't have to go. And Leaf is interested, though. He and Tobin were like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll go. And she's less than thrilled. So they're... The cutaway then with the title, she's like, I can't believe I'm going with these. So they're driving up there. And in typical Leaf and Tobin fashion, they're like low-key complaining about everything.
Yeah. Leaf is complaining about the fact that the spot they're going to isn't good enough and her telescope isn't good enough because he's actually interested in seeing the thing. And he's like, my app says we should be over here, and blah, blah, blah. And Tobin's just complaining about the fact that they're not there because he and Leaf are in this axe-throwing league that they were supposed to have a scrimmage for that night, and they skipped it.
Like, go ask Alice.
Yeah. Go ask Alice when she was just small. Sorry.
Nice little song reference there, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was kind of cool. And they're complaining about, like, the food, it's the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with the crust cut off and orange soda. She's like, literally trying to recreate this
moment
to a T. And she's like, this is hell. Mm-hmm. Tobin keeps, like, saying, I saw this documentary once called The Blair Witch Project. Like, he's afraid they're going to get murdered.
Tobin, that wasn't a documentary. Siri, was Blair Witch real?
So yeah, that was actually a really cute scene. I enjoyed. Like, she's like just kind of talking to herself. They're completely oblivious to what, she's saying it out loud, and they're completely oblivious to what she's saying. Like, this is hell. When people have said, or when people say, "I'll see you in hell," I'll say, "I've already been there."
It was warm.
Hi, Satan.
It's warm. Yeah, we've said it countless times. I really enjoy when shows like this have unexpected characters interacting in scenes together. So, yeah, Zoey going on a meteor shower watching trip with Leaf and Tobin is something different, and that was fun.
Yeah. And she wasn't going to invite him. Like, Leaf just overheard her.
Yeah.
Leaf gets a phone call from Kaya. And he ignores it, and Tobin's like, oh yeah, leaving her hanging, whatever. Meanwhile, David goes to check out the band. He wants to join in on the keyboard. Cute little side story, but, it's kind of whatever. Meanwhile, at Maximo, opening night is the next day, and they have a list of fire safety fixes to make. We jump back to the Stargazers. The guys are bitching and whining about everything, and it's messing with Zoey's mojo. And then she... Like, just as it's starting, and Tobin's got the telescope, and he's like, oh, this is awesome, you gotta see. And then she's like, oh, let me look. And then she hears the music starting, she's like, and Leaf's got a musical number, Tainted Love.
He had been looking at his phone, debating whether or not to listen to the voicemail Kaya left.
So, excellent performance of Tainted Love. Again, all the musical numbers were just...
A little bit of a rock variation there, which I didn't hate.
No. Well, and like when the way he ended the song was just, it's like, oh yeah, you go, Leaf, you.
Yeah.
I see you. I see you. And then the song ends. She's gonna look at the meteor shower, and the clouds roll in and block all visibility. Tobin saw the only thing worth seeing. He says, that was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, and I helped my mom deliver my baby sister. And so he's just eating her sandwich. The next morning, Mo arrives at Zoey's, freaking out about the fire inspection. Zoey tries to complain about the meteor shower to burden Mo.
Tries
not to complain.
Sorry.
To burden Mo. Because like she's like, oh, I just missed this meteor shower, and Mo's like, okay.
Why is this a tragedy?
Mm-hmm.
And Zoe's like, nothing. It's fine.
Back at the office, Zoe wants to help Leaf because universe. Leaf has an interesting line here though. She's like, I can't help but notice, blah blah blah, and he's like, of course you noticed. Whatever superpower you have, I want it. She's like, you can have it.
Yeah.
So he confides to Zoe that after he and Joan broke up, it took a while, but he got back into the dating scene. He texted with Kaya, and things seemed good, and then they went to this, molecular food place, which...
The place that has the foam burger that you eat with a straw.
So on Leaf on Kaya's date, she said her grandma died of a stroke and she had to go. Leaf assumed it was a lie. So Zoe tells him to invite her to Maximo. She's like, she's calling you again, right? So then we jump to the opening night. People are, queuing up outside and they're starting to get restless. But the opening is late because of the follow-up inspection. There's a line of people waiting, but they do end up passing inspection, and then they do this musical number leading into opening it up, and it's Let's Get Loud. And again, it was phenomenal to watch. I enjoyed the hell out of that.
It was...
And I don't like J-Lo.
Oh, I didn't even know it was J-Lo.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was pure show tunes. Like, it could have been done on stage, the way they had all the backup dancers and everybody filing into the restaurant and joining. They had people who were waiting outside in the windows joining in the backup dancing. Like, it was amazing to watch, and I'm pretty sure it was one cut. One cut,
yeah. And watching it, I was like, they do it so effortlessly that you forget that this. But it did occur to me during it, a lot of time and talent went in to pulling that off, especially in one take.
One cut.
Or one cut, rather. Yeah, it was... Well, that's essentially the same thing, right? If it's one cut, you're not...
When you say
one take. Okay, yeah, I get it. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
But also, the fact that they had the camera, I'm pretty sure it went full 360, which meant their stage had 4 walls to it.
Yeah.
Which is not common.
Yeah, it was... amazing to behold.
Mm-hmm.
It was a stage production. A lot of hours went into rehearsing and getting each choreography, each step just right, and it was great. I loved it.
Former stage worker, so she understands some of the and appreciates some of the work that goes into putting that together. Because somebody like me watching, I'm like, cool.
Yeah, but I did drama in high school, a little bit in college, but yeah, there's a lot that goes into learning all that, the dance moves, and then getting everything. It was awesome. Zoe's facial acting during musical numbers continues to be a delight.
Yeah, just the way people, she feels like she's getting in the way of the dancers, and she's kind of kind of reacting, and just, it's like she wandered onto a stage production.
It's like she wants to join in, but...
Almost, yeah.
Yeah. She loves watching it. She loves
Clearly
seeing
does.
it. Customers are immediately impressed.
Because she had been playing HR a bit outside when people were getting restless.
PR.
PR, rather, yes. When people were getting restless.
Yeah, my food is here before I can even get in. I get it, though, too.
Well, sure, of course.
So remember, it's not a restaurant. People order out from other restaurants to have food delivered there. Then Rosetta Williams shows up as an old friend of Max's, and this is what we referenced before. There's clearly a connection. Back at the garage band, David wants to jam with the guys. They play Watermelon Trigger. David doesn't know it, but keeps up well. And he had wanted to audition, and that wasn't the plan, and it was awkward.
Awkward.
So we kind of did a Hannah.
Yes.
Ostrich a bit.
Nope.
Meanwhile, Zoe is still trying to, go see the meteor shower. She's going to be late for stargazing. Mo kicks her out. Like, no, go, you're good.
Yeah, because, meteor showers can go for more than one night. And so there's one more opportunity that night. She had made an obligation to make an appearance at Maximo, deliver a speech from
Danny Michael Davis.
But she was like, but I can do that and still meteor shower, so.
Yeah. So she's just about to leave, but then Leaf catches her, and he's like, I think it's going really well, but can you do, like, a walk by, get the temperature, whatever. So she stays to help advise Leaf and get the 401 on Kaya, and turns out Kaya is just a networking piece. Like, oh yeah, no, he's a total loser, but I saw he works for Spark Point, and they're doing a diversity, because Kaya's, Asian.
She's diverse.
Yeah, and so, like, okay.
She's trying to get a job.
Yeah. So Zoe ends up telling Leaf. She feels awful, but Leaf blames her, because of course he does, or accuses her of lying.
It's like, I don't know what your game is, but because he thinks it's going really well, she's like, you know what, I got it from here. Like, basically, I don't want your help.
Oh, so he thought that she was just messing with him, like lying that, Kaya wasn't into him. Oh, right. Okay. All right.
Because he was thrown off that she was being nice to him to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, oh, so this was just a whatever.
Yeah, you're messing with me. Okay. All right. Now, okay. So Max talks with Rosetta. He was her first kiss. They went to camp together.
It wasn't really a first kiss, apparently. They acted out a CPR scene.
Yeah, but she's like, but I kept, drowning myself to,
try to get mouth to mouth with me
again. And the one random girl that's, that is in her party that she's there with, she's like, I tried to drown myself once.
Everyone's just like...
It's like, that's... Honestly, that's a little bit of a misstep. I think. Well... To try to capitalize humor off of someone clearly attempting suicide seems a little off. Maybe I'm being too influenced by my woke culture here, but...
Well, it definitely seems surprising coming from a show that really wants to be woke. Wants really, really hard to be woke at times. It is a bit surprising. I liken it a bit to some of the non sequiturs from some of the characters from Pitch Perfect. Like that chick that's like, well, in my country when we had to eat. I don't know.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, it was kind of like some of the non sequiturs from that chick.
Which is fine, but when you think about it, when you really think about it, it's like for a show in a culture that's trying to be so woke and sensitive, for them to kind of throw in like a suicide joke.
I laughed.
I did too, but just thinking back on it, it's like when I say misstep, I guess I don't really mean like I wasn't offended by it, but that just seems really out of left field for a show that is, inclusivity and like trying to be sensitive to all these different platforms, and you're making light of someone who admitted to trying to drown themselves?
Well, she was white, so it's okay.
No, she wasn't. No, there was a bit of an Asian look to her.
Oh, okay.
I didn't really have a problem with it. It's just like talking about it and thinking back on it. It's like,
That is an interesting observation.
That's kind of weird.
It is, but I mean, I don't want to enter an age when well, it's not a sitcom, but when shows can't have humor like that. Like,
but we're getting there.
I know, and I don't like it.
Anyway, be that as it may. So, well, and then it turns out Rosetta is going to be around for a couple months, and there's some flirting, and, oh, yeah, I'll, DM you, blah, blah, blah. Not like the sexual DM, like, just, we'll hang out, and blah, blah, blah. And
it was revealed that they stalk each other on Instagram. So
yes, whatever. So then Zoey ends up missing the meteor shower, or she is missing it, and Simon shows up to see Zoey. But he's drunk and complimentary to Max and Moat. Well, he got close with them while Zoey was going through her father dying depression.
Yeah.
Then speech time. Max and Moat give a speech. Kaya reveals herself to be networking to leave accidentally. She's like, "Oh, she's where she works at Spark Point. Yeah, she's my boss. Oh, you'll have to introduce me." And then he was just like,
yeah.
So that makes a lot more sense to me now, because I didn't realize that it was that he didn't believe Zoey. Zoey gives a speech from DMD, and it has a lot of astrological words in it because he is watching the meteor shower, and it's so poignant. And he ends it with, "You can never recreate the memory of this night," and Zoey loses it. She doesn't like, but she's
getting choked up trying to deliver the last few words of the speech, and she's like, "I'm sorry,
okay,
it's just
I gotta
go." She does finish the speech, and it's fine. It's not like awkward or anything.
Yeah, but so she goes out to watch the stars, and Maximo go to check on her, and she finally admits that it was about a memory with her dad, which she had been holding back on talking about. And they're kind of like, "Dummy, why?"
Share. Why were you not telling us? And,
yeah.
I don't want to burden you guys. I hate the idea of our friendship being one-sided. And they're like, dude.
Come to us about anything. Like,
ever, yeah.
Which I love that I love that they had Zoey and Max get together, but they did end it quickly, which kind of sucked, but at the same time, I'm glad they did it, because how many times have we seen the couple that you're rooting for get together, and then they're just together for too long?
Sure.
But there's still something there, so there's still going to be, some whatever, but the fact that it ended, but they're still very amicable. I really dig that.
I do.
It's refreshing.
I don't know how realistic it is, honestly. I've never really been through that kind of situation. But it is nice to see, because you hate that will they, won't they stuff that delves into, oh, now they're fighting for a season. Mm-hmm. It's not really fun to watch.
No.
And some great shows have fallen to that.
Right. It reminds me a lot of, Jess and Nick from New Girl. They had a relationship that lasted a little too long initially when they first got together. But, they broke up, and there was still a little bit of that awkwardness, but it wasn't... that there wasn't a lot of fighting.
Yeah, it wasn't... Nope, can't find the word. But it wasn't toxic.
Right.
It was awkward, but not because they didn't like each other or they were mad about any particular thing. It was just, we were together and now we're not, and it's a little weird.
Yeah. So...
Yeah, I mean, I feel like New Girl kind of paved the way a bit.
A little bit.
Because they navigated it so well.
Yeah. But I'd say, Zoe, it's doing it a little bit better even.
Yeah, which is,
maybe not so realistically, but
but entertaining.
Yeah. You know the show that did the Will They Won't They perfectly, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
Like, then they finally got together, and it never felt forced or out of step, or like, sorry to get a little bit off track here, but like that show.
Yeah, they nailed it.
They nailed it. Maybe Friends did it with Monica and Chandler.
I guess.
First, maybe, but.
I guess. The focus was so rarely on those two.
And I didn't really watch it enough to know for sure, but, with Brooklyn Nine-Nine, them being basically kind of the main two that you wanted to see together.
Right, exactly.
And they did it so perfectly. At any rate, it's never felt old. It's never felt awkward or like, oh man, now they're just kind of dragging this out. They're making it weird, whatever. Like, they did it great. But going back to Zoey's. So yeah, friends are like, you can always come to us, and Max says, let's get a group together and go. Mo's like, I don't have my outside wig. Plus, somebody's got to stay back.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised when they both bailed. It was like, it's pretty busy in there, but okay.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Leaf is sad. Tobin and the other chick cheer him up. It was interesting because behind them, he was sitting on a bench, and behind him was Life is Good. I'm like, that's straight out of The Good Place.
Yeah, you called it. I did not see it until you said it, and you're right. It was like picture perfect.
Which is also an NBC show, so. Back at the garage, David begs for a spot on the band, and they grant him a trial period, which I was like, yeah, good for him. It was an awkward thing, but he came back, and he's like, still let me do this. And he's like, I can get you gigs. And they're like, can you use gigs?
I'd like a gig.
Yeah, so, cool. Nice little wrap up there. Zoey takes the guys to Stargaze. Leaf, Max, and Simon are in the car with her, and they all bond. In the car with her, they all bond over. Oh, they bond over the song "Give a Little Bit." Give a little bit. Give a little bit of my love to you. And it was. She's like, "Oh, that's my dad's favorite song," and it was a really, really sweet moment.
They're comforting Leaf, and he's like, despite spending all that money on that microbial food, I'm still hungry. And Simon from the back's like,
Max.
Oh, it was Max. I thought it was Simon. I got some stale.
Because putting it together in the kitchen, putting the delivery together in the kitchen, Max was whining about it because.
Right.
So he's like, oh, so the 13 boxes were worth it.
Yeah.
But then Simon was the one that was like, I got a stale PB&J back here, and.
You want it? And Leaf's like, yes, please.
Yes, please. The fire marshal guy returns to show support. He brings his St. Florian statue, patron saint of firefighters, and I'm like...
Please let that be the end of it. Please let that be the end of it. Please don't do the thing you're probably going to do.
He probably doesn't realize that Mo is trans.
True.
I am afraid of what they could do with that.
There's like three things they could do.
Well, I would... If he knows about, like, patron saint of firefighters, he's probably Catholic, or at least, one of those Christian sects that are more Catholic, but not actually Catholic.
Sympathetic to saints, I guess you could say.
Like, Presbyterian? But what's the one that's, like, really... Episcopalian. Really Catholic, but they're very open to the
Other
LGBTQ.
things. Right.
So it could be that. Wanting, as a Catholic, wanting to be seen, I would hope that would be a situation where he is Catholic and he doesn't realize that Mo is trans, is a guy, he goes by he.
True.
And if they go in that direction, my hope is that they wouldn't make him out to be the villain. Like, you do you, and that's your decision. But you have to respect where I'm coming from. This is what I am. And while I'm not here to judge you or condemn you, I can't be in a relationship.
Right.
And I would hope that that would be reciprocated as a, that sucks, but I understand. I don't think they would do that.
That's some high hopes. Or, I mean, in my mind, ideally what happens is we never see him again. He literally showed up to show support, offered the saint statue, and we never see him again. Yeah, I just accused you of having high hopes. I
know.
get it.
I know.
Let's not jump to any conclusions. Let's cross that bridge when we come to it.
But, and it would have, you know, as a viewer who is Catholic, it'd be like, okay, fine, whatever. But they had to do that. I like seeing Catholic representation in shows, but this seems like it might be going in a inflammatory direction. So we'll see. Be that as it may, back to the Stargazers, and Zoey has her moment. You're like, oh, you gotta look at this, and, you know, she's like, seeing you all have a moment is the moment for me.
Yeah.
So.
Recreating the moment with her dad, but from a different perspective.
Really beautiful episode.
Yes.
Loved it.
A lot of fun, a lot of tears. It's great.
I didn't cry, but...
Neither did I. But, you know, it was good dramatically and good humorously.
Humorously.
There it is. Got there.
Yeah. So, I think... So, it's 10:30. Watch the next episode. Bring us to about 11:30, which would give us about 30 minutes to do a wrap-up thing. So I think we can do this.
All right,
it might take us a little past midnight, but you know that's our MO this week. So
true.
All right.
Easter week. Woo!